Hey everyone, what's up? This is Simon from Galaxies.dev, and in this video we're gonna build the X top bar area with material top bar navigation using Expo router. So that is actually going to be interesting because within React Navigation there is a package for material top bar or material top tabs as it is called, but with Expo router you usually don't have that. But we're gonna make it work really easily. We're gonna set up an application where we have a stack layout where we can define our header, and then we're gonna have the material top tabs below it. We can style them and they will still use the Expo file-based routing. So this is going to be really amazing. If you want to check out the code, link below to Galaxies.dev, and without further ado, I think let's dive straight into it. Alright, so let's get started with our routing app. I actually used Create Expo Stack, but it doesn't really matter. You can also use the Expo CLI, whatever you prefer. You just need an Expo application with file-based routing. And the next part is actually the important part. So you're gonna install a few dependencies. You need React Navigation material top tabs. We're gonna take a look at that quickly there, and React Native tab view. And additionally, we also need the React Native pager view, which we can install with Expo. So although we're using the Expo router, we're still using React Navigation, which is anyway used under the hood of the Expo router to create this effect in our application. It's just a tiny bit more complicated. There's just like one additional step that you need to take. Follow this up with npx expo, of course, to bring up your preview and then run it on iOS, Android, your device, whatever you prefer. Good. In my case, I should see a simple application, create Expo stack. Yeah, it gives us a layout, a details, and index page. In fact, we could actually just remove everything. I kind of want to do it from scratch with you, so let's just remove everything and start with an underscore layout.tsx file. I'll start with a React Native functional export component, and we're gonna wrap our basic view in a stack. You don't really have to, but then you're gonna get into some trouble with the save area at the top, so I kind of would recommend to do this. Also, we want to build the X navigation, and you know, in the X application you have this header area where it says X and your logo, and then you have the material top tabs. So that is what we're after. Additionally, we will put everything for the tab bar in a group here. So I will call this one tabs, and I will just place an index file in here for now, React Native functional export, making this a page. So then we should have something to display in our stack navigation, at least soon. We need to define our screen. The name is index. So this will actually be the tabs group. We can just put in the group, and I will close this. And now I just want to try and see how fast we can get actually something correct to render. Okay, here we go. So we see we have tabs index as the title, and our page is rendered, and especially it's in the right context. So we have a stack here, and that means we can implement our layout in the tabs group. That is good news for us. On top of that, we're gonna implement a few things. So you can put in options here, and in those options I want to first start by passing a header left. So for header left, what I want to use is actually my own Twitter icon. You can of course use your own. I will just use this image here. So this should point to the right source. Image, oh come on, yeah, just import. How did it? It's still not. Okay, that wasn't too bad, Copilot. Okay, that wasn't too bad. But I don't see it yet. Why is it not on the screen? Let's see. Probably because we don't have a layout file in here. So if I would specifically say that it should render the index file, we see my little image comes up here. And we want to do the same for header right. So for header right in the X application, I actually don't know if I should call it Twitter or X. For header right, we're gonna pick something like this. Let's use an Ionicon. Ionicons from Expo Vector Icons. I want to use not iOS search, but settings outline. And let's give this a try. Okay, this is not how it's spelled. I think it's, yeah. It's of course settings outline. Okay, So this is pretty much how the header setup looks in the X application. The only thing missing is the actual X logo. But if you want to do this, you can do this as well. You don't have to render a text in the center. You can also render a custom header title component. So let's do this. And for that one, I want to use the image. So I picked this one before for your convenience. This is from the Twitter about settings. Can we just open that link? So that just uses this icon with a bit of styling, and voila, the general header is finished. I haven't attached any kind of like logic here. You could of course have them touchable, links, whatever you prefer. The only thing I'm pretty sure we don't want is like this little bar or the border down there, and we can disable this here with screen options. So I want to pass in header shadow visible false. All right, turning that off, and it's gone. It might be hard to see in the video, but trust me, it's gone. On top of that, from this page, I would also like to get into a details page. You know, this could be your feed, like people are posting some trash in here, and then you click on something and it will jump into a new page with a back arrow up here. So let's add a details page at the top level. This is important. I don't want to place this in the tabs group as it would become part of the tab bar. I want to have it outside of that. So I will add a details page up here, putting in React Native functional export. Let's call this details. And then I can add this to my stack screen. I don't really have to, but I kind of like to do this. So let's put in details, and for the options, we could say header title details, and we should now be able to go from the index page to that one. So let's use the Expo router link component. I want to use the href, and we should have, we have strong types here. Going to details, and if I click this, I'm on the details page. Expo router is really that easy, and I love how fast you can move with it. And you even get like the static types here. It just works really, really great. Beyond that, we see this up here. So if you want to change that area, go back to the options and put in header back something, header back title, pick whatever you want. I will just set it to back, and then we can go back. Okay, you see, we got this. So now the probably even more important part of this tutorial starts. That sounds strange. If you love tips and tutorials just like this, you will love what I've created inside Galaxies.dev. On Galaxies, you will find all the code, more tutorials, and specific courses about learning React Native fast. So go check it out at Galaxies.dev and use the code WARPSPEED at the checkout to get 10% off your first 3 months of Galaxies Pro. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below so you get updated about the new videos, live streams, and everything coming to this channel. We want to implement the actual layout for the top material tabs. You can check this out in the official documentation. So we installed the stuff, and it kind of looks like this, but we're gonna do it a bit different since we also need to like combine it with Expo router and file-based routing. So I took inspiration from a great repository on GitHub from Evan, who is of course the creator of the Expo router. He has some cool examples also for material bottom tabs. They didn't work out of the box, so that's why I put my own spin on this, and I just hope that whatever I create helps someone. Okay, let's do this. I will create a new layout in here, and in that layout file, we're gonna import something. So we're gonna first of all put in some imports for create material top navigator. This is actually what you can see in the official documentation as well. And then you can do navigator. So you can extract the navigator, hard to pronounce, from create material top navigator. All right, that's the first part. Now, as I said, we want to combine this with Expo, and there's a function called with layout context. This function will help us to create the appropriate context, and it needs 4 parameters that you can figure out. In the official example from Evan, I just found 2, but I actually figured out how to do it with even more. So let's do this. We can export now const material top tabs, and that's basically how you can create any kind of custom layout with the Expo router. It will look like this, but then we don't have any types. So I want to fix this, and in here we're going to place the 4 items that we need. So the first one is material top navigation options. All right. The second one is type of navigator. The third one is something that was missing, and this is the tab navigation state, and it uses for the generic here the param list base from React Navigation Native. So you're going to see this in some examples as well. And finally, the fourth one is the material top navigation event map. All right, this is the whole object. I know it looks really scary, but this is just what we need. So now we can create our layout in here and see. We can use the material top tabs as a component here, and I can just close this. Let's see what happens. I actually don't know what happens. Okay, yeah. The first thing is that now that we have a layout file inside the tabs folder, we need to change this accordingly. So previously we just had that file. Now we actually want to say this for the whole folder. Oh, that was an error, interesting. So if we remove the path here and just make it the whole folder, that should work better. And you see, we are actually rendering our index page already. So this is the one here, open details. All right, good. And that also means we now have material top tabs, and we can just add pages in here as we want. So let's do a new file. I will call this following.tsx. It would be cool if it actually works. Following.tsx, React Native functional export page, and this will be following. Let's hit save, and voila. Isn't that great? Like, it just works. We already have it. This is it. Once I figured this out, I was like, wow, that's actually pretty easy. So now you can just go ahead and, you know, Expo file-based routing, if you implement bottom tabs, I think I had a video on this as well, it just picks up the files in that folder. So I can just do like another one, React Native, or you could have like a generic, whatever. React Native functional export page, I will call this React Native. And then we have a third tab up here. And you see, by default, swipe is enabled, and we can get into the details now of how we can change them, because we can actually change the appearance. When I swipe left here at the end, I actually get a warning. So this was something I think I saw on GitHub as well. It was kind of like resolved, but then not resolved. I think it's actually even open again. There's a warning, and I just think that it will be fixed at some point. I don't think this is anything we have to do at this point, so I will just leave it there like it is, and hope that it will be fixed really soon. But I wanted to show you that we can now also style our top tabs. Currently, we're not doing anything specific about it, and we also see... All right, yeah, they have, yeah, we could probably change those names, because those names are currently like index, and I don't want this to be, no, I don't want the arrow. What is this? This is new. I haven't seen that one before. Interesting. What I want to change is, of course, the name, because they are currently only using the file name. So just like before, we can now use material top tabs dot screen. Name, let's say index, options, and I can call the options here. Probably the index is like, what was the default? I think it's for you. Okay, and it turns to for you. Let's see, we're gonna do this for the 2 other as well. So let's change this to React Native. Actually, I wanna have React Native as the 3rd, so let's change the order. And then it becomes following and React Native. All right, this is the title. On top of that, by the way, we can still easily go into the details. Nothing has changed about that. We're just leaving our stack navigation and pushing to a new stack. Nothing has changed. But in terms of styling, I also want to change the appearance here, and then you can just go into the screen options, just like you used to from tabs, and put in something like, let's say, tab bar active tint color, and I want to use like my own darkish blue. All right, you can also of course use this just to make sure. You see, we got the color up here, but I want to use this one. Next to it, I want to change the tab bar indicator style. So what is this? No, the inactive. No, that's not what I change. I want to change the tab bar indicator style. And for that one, we can pass an object with background color. You're mad about something. Background color something. So again, let's do a crazy color just to see what's going on. And this is the line at the bottom. For this one, I want to use this color. I think because that's actually Twitter blue. And then we can also change the height to, let's say, 3 to make it a bit bigger. Cool. Now, only thing missing is that it's currently using like uppercase for all the titles. And you can change this with the tab bar label style. I want to use the font weight bold. That's actually correct. But I want to use text transform capitalize. Yeah, that's a lot better. And probably change the font size. I don't know, something like 14. Yeah, that looks good. That looks pretty much exactly like the Twitter top tabs. And you see, it wasn't actually too hard. You can extract this part if you want to in a custom layout file. And then you will have a really clean layout here and a reusable material top tabs component that you can use everywhere in your application. But this is not everything. I also wanted to show you really quickly how we can navigate around. So I want to make this, let's do this with a bit of flex so it's in the center. So the first one is opening our details page. I will just transform this now to a button just because this looks a bit better. Okay, so our open details button is still the same. If you now wanted to go to a specific tab of the top tabs, you can just use the route. So the route is still tabs / something. So we can do the same like we did here. Let's copy this over. All right, tabs / and we can get this. Let's do React Native, open React Native page. And it just scrolls there because file-based routing from Expo is used under the hood, and we can use the URLs with a link component to make that work. You don't really need to access the navigator and call jump. This is actually what you saw here in the documentation. Somewhere is somewhere. Yeah, here. This is it. They have navigation.jump2, and you can pass params, but you don't really need to. You can just use the link component as it is. As I said, you can even use it for params. So if you want to use it for params, what you could do is you could create a link with an href object and not just the string, but path name and param. So let's say I want to open the following page and pass in refresh1 to just like refresh that page. So it's already opening following, and I could now go to the following page, and on that page I could extract these parameters. So I could say refresh equals use local search params. I can even add the type refresh string, and if refresh is set and refresh is equal to 1, we want to do something. We're going to call alert.alert refreshed. All right, and you already see it. Voila, it immediately calls that. So you could do whatever. You could refresh a list or scroll or do anything. I just wanted to highlight that you can also pass params to that page with the Expo router link component and don't need anything else. So that's pretty much it. We've done the inspired, the X-inspired header in this case. We have swipe enabled. We have styled these pages a bit, but of course you don't have to wrap this in the stack layout if you don't want to. So if you just want to have this like without all of this, you could of course just like render a slot here. And then you see it is kind of crowded up here. So I would now have to account for that. I could probably do a view around this with the save area. So it would still work. It would just be a bit different. You would have to take care of that. But I think with our X-inspired header, it looks really amazing with no border in between. You can swipe between these, and I really hope this is going to be working in your application. All Alright, and that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this kinda quick win on how you can build material top tabs in your React Native Expo application. With the with layout context function, it's really easy to create your own layout context. In this case, we created our material top tabs using the already existing stuff from React Navigation. So, hope you enjoyed this, hope you can put this to work in your application. If you did so, please leave a comment below and let me know. And if you got any other questions or want to see other layouts built with the Expo router, you know it, leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe. Check out Galaxies.dev for more great React Native content, and I will catch you in the next one. So until then, happy coding, Simon.